Hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Meet Marshfield. This is a program to bring you the people, places, and events and groups here in town. And if you know of something that you would like us to go and investigate and bring back, just give us a call at 781-837-4384 and we'll see what we can do. Today we have the Secretary-Treasurer of the Massachusetts Lobstermen's Association. He's also a commercial lobsterman from Sandwich, Massachusetts, and I think a lot of you know him because he's been around a long time. That's Dave Casoni. Dave, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Annie. I appreciate that.
You and I go back a long way.
Yes, we do.
But we don't want to talk about that because there's so many things here that I didn't know about lobstering, and I've known you for about 36 years. And so I've learned a lot just in the pre-show and what have you. So let's talk about lobstering in Massachusetts. And I know I'm going to have to shut you off every once in a while because you could talk for about 2 hours.
Thanks, Annie. I appreciate that. Yeah, the lobster industry in Massachusetts, basically what happens here is if your Uncle Harold and Aunt Tilly come out from Kansas and they come to visit you at your house, they expect you to be the authority on the ocean, and you're the expert on everything there is because you live near the ocean.
Well, we know it's salty.
Yeah, and about the only thing you know is that it's salty, and you probably know a good seafood restaurant, right. So we'll go there, and that's the extent of it. And you have to understand a few things about the lobster industry in Massachusetts. First of all, lobster industry in Massachusetts is the most valuable marine resource in Massachusetts waters. Of all of the resources in state waters, the lobster is the #1 cash resource. It may not be the #1 cash marine product. Similarly, like New Bedford leads the nation in cash landings, but that's scallops, and they go to George's Bank. We'll talk about what happens in Massachusetts waters. The lobster industry in Massachusetts is a limited regulated license, commercial lobstermen. There are approximately 1,400 licenses in Massachusetts, of which about 900 or less are active, and by active I mean they're out harvesting lobsters and fishing any number of traps. We have all sorts of regulations and limits on this. We have no season. We could conceivably fish 12 months of the year. However, weather conditions and the New England climate and everything else have led it to the fact that it doesn't go through the winter. There are some that fish through 12 months. We're limited not only by the number of commercial licenses, by the number of traps that we can put in the water. The number of traps that we put in the water, there's a maximum of 800 in Massachusetts. The Homarus americanus, the American lobster, is the most familiar of all of the marine seafoods in the world. I mean, it's a very noticeable animal, 2 large claws, and it's considered a delicacy. We like to say a celebration food throughout the world. And this lobster is harvested from the Canadian provinces down to Long Island, although as it goes further south there are fewer lobsters harvested. Canada leads the world in landings, followed by Maine, then Massachusetts.
And is it also true that maybe with global warming that the lobsters then will be moving northward more into colder water?
That's really tough to say that for sure, because the lobster is a kind of a finicky creature. We always associate the lobster with colder waters, but they become much more active as the water temperature reaches a perfect area within the 40-degree range on the bottom. And right now we're not at that, even though the surface temperatures may be in the high 50s this time of the year in New England. They're not, that bottom temperature is still very cold. They're very lethargic. We'd think that the good, cold, clear waters are the ones that produce more. They do, but it's mostly the rocky habitat that affords them the opportunity to hide, to get away from predation and everything else, that gives them a good, safe place to go. So that type of an area is more apt to have more lobsters in it. The temperature, of course, plays a big part in it. The lobster is an amazing creature. I mean, we have worked for years and years to try to outguess this animal, and this is an animal, first of all, that is the first cousin to a spider. It's a crustacean in the ocean. It's an arthropod. It has a nervous system. It doesn't have a brain. And as lobstermen, we try to outguess it, and we lose. And we're losing a battle with an animal that doesn't have a brain. It's frustrating, but we still go after it. The animal itself is very unique. The way we harvest it hasn't changed much in generations. About the only thing that's changed is the condition of the trap itself. This is no longer the ideal, if you notice it's made out of wire. It's no longer the ideal coffee pot, the ideal coffee table rather, not pot, lawn ornament of the wooden traps of old. Those are gone. The design of the trap has remained pretty much the same, and the way it works is the same. The entrances and things like that are all the same.
So we do have a clip of something from a CD that you brought, and then while we're waiting for that clip, this is the thing. This is one of your lobsters.
Well, this one here, minus some of the ballast that goes into it. Yes, this is a typical wire lobster pot that would be used.
So.
Yeah, a lot of traps are fished individually in shallow waters and near the shore. A lot go in what we call trawls. They're connected together in length.
Dynamics of the trap are pretty simple. Put bait in an end right here. The entrance, this entrance right here. There are two rings here. This part hopefully entices the lobsters in for the bait. We call this the kitchen. This end right here, they come in to eat. They then back in, defending their little morsel of food, in this to the end where hopefully they're trapped. This part we call the parlor. The parlor is where they sit and rest. I believe this one's a small lobster. Yeah, short the gauge. Gauge, 3 1/4 inch gauge, Massachusetts, pretty much all the area, from the eye socket to the back of the front section, the carapace here, the thorax, if you will, region, shows that the gauge doesn't make. If it fell short, it's a legal lobster. This one is a short lobster. Grow up.
Oh, there we have grow up. Right?
Grow up, yeah. We have in Massachusetts, under our regulations and our laws, an awful lot to protect the resource. One of the things that the industry wants to get out is the fact that in today's society there's an awful lot of interest in sustainability of a resource, environmentally secure and safe, and all of these other things. And to explain what has been done over the years in the lobster industry itself, most of these restrictions were placed by the industry to the managers. Understand that we are managed from the federal government to the state level on everything. And one of the things that we have done is we have made it a point to measure all of those lobsters. In colonial times, when the Pilgrims came, it was noted that lobsters were right up on the beach, and these could have been 20 and 30-pound creatures that were there. I don't know what they did with them. I'm not sure of the first guy that said, I think I'll eat one of these ugly-looking things, but good for him.
Probably threw them in the corn patch.
I'm sure they used them for fertilizer. It got to a point where actually even in the 1920s, the prisoners in Plymouth Colony complained that they were fed lobsters too much. And it wasn't until after World War II that lobsters became promoted as a kind of a gourmet, if you will, or an elegant